This will be the case. There will be those who may stay in other parts of Israel, and they will be the minority. Hopefully, the 60 days will be just the beginning of a much longer ceasefire.
Well, Yossi Beilin is a former Israeli justice minister, and he's initiator of the Oslo peace process in the early 90s. He's joining me now from Tel Aviv. So thank you very much indeed for being with us. I want to talk to you about this cabinet meeting that's ostensibly taking place sometime in the next few hours or so, in which they're going to be discussing a possible ceasefire. We are talking about a cabinet which has very strong and very differing views around that cabinet table. What's your assessment of the chances that there might be some sort of agreement?
There will be no problem for Netanyahu to get the majority that he needs from the cabinet. There are some ministers, especially the lunatic ones, who will be against any ceasefire anywhere in the world, but they are not threatening neither the decision nor even the government.
I'm interested to hear you say that, because for a long time, for example, National Security Minister Itamar Ben-Gvir and Bezalel Smotrich, the finance minister, have been determined that they will bring down the government in the event that there is some sort of negotiation, some sort of ceasefire on pretty much any front. If this does get passed and Benjamin Netanyahu does get the support that you're saying, what does that mean for the state of the coalition and the cabinet?
I don't think that Netanyahu is going to face any challenge to his government right now, not on this issue. It can be on very different issues, like recruitment of ultra-religious people to the Israeli army, but not necessarily the ceasefire with Hezbollah through Lebanon and the United States. Actually, there are many Israelis who oppose the ceasefire and would like Israel to continue and hit Hezbollah. This is understandable, because as long as Hezbollah is an armed militia in Lebanon, it takes hostage the government of Lebanon, prevent it to operate, and is a threat on Israel. But this is not going to be, regretfully, the case. I mean, Hezbollah is not going to give up on its arms, and the ceasefire will take place from tomorrow, while Hezbollah is still a significant militia in Lebanon.
If there is a ceasefire for 60 days, or at least starting with a ceasefire for 60 days, how likely is it, do you think, that Israelis are going to want to go back to their homes at the border until it is absolutely certain, until Benjamin Netanyahu can give them an absolute guarantee that their homes will be safe? Because that has been, in this case, his endgame.
This is true, but Netanyahu cannot give an absolute promise that nothing will happen. I believe that many of the Israelis who left their homes as a result of the government recommendation will come back, even though the risks are there. People usually prefer to live in their homes. And this will be the case. There will be those who may stay in other parts of Israel, and they will be the minority. Hopefully, the 60 days will be just the beginning of a much longer ceasefire.
I understand that there has been criticism from some of the mayors in the northern Israeli towns. They're calling this, according to what I've been reading in Israeli media, a surrender deal. And they say that's because Hezbollah wouldn't be completely eliminated from the border zone. Just as you were referring to, how hard a sell is this going to be for Benjamin Netanyahu, particularly, of course, to the people whose homes are near the border?
Well, he will have to explain to them that what they are asking is perhaps the right thing to ask, but it is not reasonable and is against our values as a Jewish state and a democratic state, and against the international law, to get rid of a whole of thousands of people, 10,000s of people. Is not going to happen, and they will be frustrated, but eventually they will have to comply with the decision, which will be backed by most of the Israelis.
Yossi Beilin, we appreciate you being with us on Al Jazeera as always, sir. Thank you very much indeed for your time.
Thank you for having me.